Magnus reaching for his water, coming to the tournament hall. Levon versus Magnus. Wow, these two players have met so much over the last, I'm going to say 15 years. Yeah, and I remember them having their fights, and the candidates remember that before he became the challenger, Levon actually knocked Magnus out of the candidates in the match before London 2013. As we are off, E4. Magnus has been all over the map with his defenses.
Going with a more classical choice of opening.
I was about to say, things have calmed down with the Italian Gioco Piano.
Yeah, he chose a solid opening in this game. This is a critical game. Just in case, if Levon wins this and Duda wins his game, now it's going to be only half a point lead. So It's very important for Magnus to score in this game.
That's why Magnus doesn't want to take a huge risk by playing something like b5 or b6 on move 1.
Exactly. Now that is a strange picture there on the left. Is somehow that's not the tell us.
No games in a database already here. They're after opening. So Black has two options here. He can play bishop d7 here, just exchange the bishops.
Makes sense.
Or he can play the move knight c6, which is going to force the move c3 because the bishop on a4 is hanging. And then he plays the move bishop g4, and I think that's where we have in the game.
What happened, yes.
And it seems like we had transposed back to a game until the move bishop b3, and now we're again in novel territory?
Yes, it's a new position here, and now queen d7 played by Magnus. He's got this pin here, and we know this pin is very annoying, and now Levon needs to figure out how to continue here. So he can start with the move rook e1,
which he has done,
which he played, and here Magnus has a choice actually. He can play the move long castle.
Long castle.
Yes.
Okay.
And then possibly you want to play the move quick d5 here and try to put pressure on d3 here.
He has played b6, b5, which I find much more attractive positionally.
Which also indicates that he's not planning to castle long.
Right. Well,
Yes.
I've got the double pawns, right? So it kind of makes sense for me to aspire to play the move b5, b4. The move d4 was played inviting bishop takes f3. Would that be an overreach by Magnus trying to win a pawn?
No, it's the best move. Bishop takes f3.
He's done it, and are we going to see GF? No. GF, you don't play. That's not the way you play chess, right?
Queen would come to h3. And
exactly. That's so we're about to see queen takes.
He took with a pawn.
Wow.
Not expecting that.
G takes f3.
And g5 instantly, as Maggie is saying, hey, wait, guy,
I
queen
can win
h3.
this tournament in this round.
Right?
Absolutely. G5 is an excellent move to stop all the f4 ideas, and I don't like this for Levon. Knights are stronger in a close position, guys. We know that. And again, Magnus wins this, it's over. He's the winner of the tournament.
But Levon has a chance to exchange queens now, which would make his king feel a lot safer.
Exactly. I would probably, let me correct myself. I would certainly be eager to trade queens, and I would take the pawn on, not the fact that I'm happier about it, but just I know I'm not going to get mated, at least with the queens off the board, at least not.
Right. It looks very scary with queen coming to h3.
And he's going for it.
Yes. I mean, just hack that off, because queen was coming to h3, the knight was going to go to g6 and pop to f4, and it would have been snap, crackle pop. Okay. I'm thinking that the A file might be useful, so I'm more attracted to move rook e1 to d1 myself.
Just on the
Eyeballing
board.
bishop f7 check, and I probably want to get my king back into
You want to
the
bring the
central.
king back to the center, yes.
Yeah.
It's not very nice on h1. And
Exactly.
what should black play here? Should
I'm thinking
Bishop f7 is a threat, guys.
f6, and maybe on a good day, just kind of park your king in
no,
the
on
center.
f6 I can still go bishop f7 check.
Oh, excuse me. You're absolutely right.
So black needs to move the knight from d7. Knight f6 probably?
Knight f6, okay. Knight f6 kind of makes sense. King f6.
And then I think I would castle because Black's king in the center won't do so well. On e7, there'll be bishop c5 check. So
Exactly.
I think Black should castle on the king side.
Do we have moves, Var? Because I saw that the Levon was kind of moving nervously with his body there.
No moves yet, and
Knight
I think
f6, avoiding.
yeah, now knight f6 played, and c4 is the right idea. Again, when you have two bishops, you want to open up some files, some diagonals, and that's exactly what the move c4 does. Levon with 1 minute advantage on the clock right now.
Wow.
Okay, that's going to be important. By the way, I was getting sensitive to the move knight h4. Not so easy to defend the pawn on f3. The move c4 does allow White's bishop to come back.
And of course,
should it be necessary.
Black doesn't want to go knight h4 right now. Allow c takes b5 and knight f3.
Exactly.
And Duda has a big advantage against Wojtaszek, guys, and also
Ooh.
ahead on the clock, so there is a good chance he's going to win that game.
Keeping the pressure on Magnus, as again, we've got this all-important final round coming up, and we will be crowning a champion. I like this move, castles. Like yourself, I felt that Black's king was more vulnerable in the center. Just parked it away. And from Levon's point of view, you were mentioning, open up the game. B4, A5. As White, you want to get that pawn as quickly as possible up the board. King G7.
Should Black try to exchange one pair of rooks, maybe rook d8? Does it benefit Black or White? Hard to
Jury's
tell,
out.
right?
Yeah, I'm kind of happy about the fact that I've got this pass pawn potential, the candidate pass pawn, that is to say B4, B5, A5, A6. And Levon is doing his best. Var, jump in. Nasi asks a very good question. Should Black be looking to trade?
Yes,
pair of
rook
rooks?
f8 was the best move instead of the move king g7. In fact, engines don't like the move king g7 at all. It looks like a waste of time, and it was important to play rook f8, exchange one pair of the rooks,
Okay.
and then you put that pawn on c6.
I noticed the knight came to h4. Is it time to bring the other knight to f4?
Because now that White's bishop is on b6, we can't exchange rooks anymore.
Yes, this is a problem because pawn will go on a5 and the rook on a3, and when you reach the move knight f4, he can play, let's say, bishop c4 or even bishop f1, and White has the control of the d file, and knight h5, the danger is also rook d7.
The move rook f8 to e8 shows that Black has a little awkwardness. Things are beginning to get dangerous for Magnus now.
Yeah,
I
I think
a5 and rook a3, rook e7 came.
Magnus is definitely in an uncomfortable position, and
He's on
he's
the
also
back foot.
down on the clock by 1 minute.
We don't say that too often, do we?
Almost never.
Also, Levon can improve his king a little bit. I like this idea of just bringing the king. By the way, this releases the bishop so that the f pawn is now covered by the rook. Whoa, I was thinking the bishop might have gone
To c7, right?
to c7. It could
Well,
still
you can
go.
come back. Yes.
It could still go to c5. Again, something
This-
tells me get the king a little bit
I
back.
think
in
Magnus's idea is to put knights on maybe e6 and g6 so he can have d4 and f4, but it takes a long time to get there, and White bishops are also maneuvering c5, c4 maybe.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking that if I can get rook d6 and a6 in, life would be good. Bishop c4,
So
Okay.
f3 is not hanging bishop because of bishop c5.
the old double attack. It's been working for 1,000 years.
And if Magnus were to play knight e6, I think Levon wants to take bishop e6, because on rook e6 I can go rook d7. And the rook on the 7th rank, and we do have it on the board.
And by the way, I've got a result. Richie Rapport just
Drew
drawn.
against Anish.
Okay, and he's done what you suggested. Bishop takes e6, and this stopped Magnus now. He sees that rook takes rook d7 could be curtains. He may be forced to take with the pawn.
But maybe it's not so bad to double the pawns.
Yeah. Now remember, we came in with a 1.5 point lead for Magnus, so all he needs really is a draw, and for Duda to draw, and he's clinched.
Right, but Var earlier told us that Duda is better, trying to win.
But he lost some of his advantage on the board and on the clock as well here.
Okay.
So it's maybe
But
very slightly better
I
for
do
him
not
still,
like
though.
Magnus's
This is position me either. I just wanted to say, why are we thinking Magnus is going to draw this? This looks terrible. Bishop c5, and this pawn on b7. If that falls, that a pawn is just it's touchdown.
I think that pawn is falling because on rook b8 I can attack with the bishop.
Oh, look at this nasty move, b5. So there's some back rank mate against the king after ab.
I think on a takes b, yes, there's a checkmate. Rook a1, king g2, and g4.
Yeah, protecting
Yeah, you
the
just want
knight.
to play king g2 here. You want to just leave
Of
the pawn
course.
on a5, and or h3 is an excellent move as well here.
Yes,
To not allow g4 at all.
yeah. King g2
Very nice.
on Levon's agenda, as he's
He has a protected pass pawn on a5, very active rook on the 7th, so
and just get your king out of these checkmating patterns.
then it should be
Uh,
an easy.
easy game,
Game.
easy win, and take that knight off the board. I mean,
And I also hear that Wesley won his game against Shevchenko.
by the way, this is now looking like a technical win for white. A6 followed by a7. I don't think.
Actually, he blew it, Yasser.
No.
Yes.
It's not winning anymore.
What happened?
Levon.
How did he blow it? This looks so good for white.
Well, actually, after the move, bishop e7, instead of bishop e7 is fine, but he had to make sure he didn't take on g5, so he had to play the move king takes g4 was winning, and also the idea of rook d8, trading the rooks, was stronger instead of taking on g5. So bishop g5 was the big mistake, and now I think there's going to be a lot of counterplay. Rook d4 is coming up.
King
We do
F4.
have some moves on the board, and looks like
Well, he didn't
We
play.
trade king g5, rook a6. We can take on e6, but king
King
f4
F4
is the
taking
problem.
the e4 pawn.
And he's done it. And after rook b6, we can go rook to a2, or king takes e4.
Looks like things are going Magnus's way because he's saving this game, and Duda is not better anymore at all.
At all. Okay.
Yes.
So again, if both those players draw, then Magnus has
Magnus
clinched
wins
the
the tournament, yes.
But Duda could have the last say. I like this move, rook a2, because the move g3 is actually, he didn't play, rook a5 was the threat. Although
Right.
I might have had a perpetual in those cases. Anyway, rook takes a6. The very active black king makes all the difference in the world, Var.
Yes,
rook
that's why
A3.
he's holding this position.
Rook a3, rook b3, and king e4 on black's agenda.
Right.
Rook a2.
He might also want to play g3 at some point.
Now
Yes.
threatening g3.
Now threatening g3 and king 2. He's
King f4, king f1. Does anyone have any chances here? Does Levon still have a chance to win this?
no. I think even if you were to get your king to a7, a series of checks is going to drive you.
Well, if you think black's king is kind of in
Yes,
zone, it can't
exactly.
move, right?
It can't move. Although, in truth, it might be able to. Like, imagine I go
Yeah, you
king
can't
F-
even you can't even cross. He could have just played even rook c1 check. Rook c1 check was
But
like.
yeah, now I think at some point Magnus will just sack the rook and take f2.
Exactly. Like, I mean, imagine a king f3.
He may not need to because these checks are so annoying and white king cannot hide.
Exactly. I think that
And big surprise, Duda won his game.
the action is still palpable as Duda has won his game. It's not over till it's over.
Wow.
And this one is over because
It's a
the
very
black
easy
king,
draw here.
yeah, the black king is ready to escort the pawn. G3,
Yeah, good
G2.
save by Magnus.
bravo. Great stuff, great stuff. Which means Magnus only has 1 point lead, and Magnus looked and kind of grimaced when he saw that Duda had won. Var, over to you. How did Duda pull that off?
Yeah, it looked like it's going to be a draw, but then somehow he managed to win. I will show you the ending of that game, but I wanted also to show you the Wesley's win. So let me just show you the very end.